Nomfundo. I hope I did not murder your name.
No, you didn't. Sawubona, Shaka.
Really? Thank you so much. Of course, I have that wonderful magazine from the South African Airways. You just mentioned their message.
Exactly. Sawubona, it's also a greeting in my language, which is isiZulu, in South Africa. So we say Sawubona, which simply means I see you and I acknowledge your existence.
The feeling is mutual.
Thank you.
Let me ask you this question. How does it really feel for you? And I want you to talk to me, by the way, from the deepest, better part of the bottom of your South African heart and soul. How does it really feel for you to be part of this Mandela Washington Fellowship, a program named after the Madiba himself, from your own country?
Well, Shaka, one of the greatest regrets I have in my life is that Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela passed away without me ever having the honor of meeting him. But I think through the many South Africans that I've had the opportunity of interacting with on a daily basis back home, I've been able to meet Nelson in a different way. We are often encouraged back home to stick to his legacy, his kindness, his forgiveness, his tolerance, and his fight for unification of the country. So many South Africans are fighting that cause and believe in that cause and have that spirit of unification and of equality in the country. So when you meet and you interact with those South Africans, you can't help but believe that Dada lives in bits and pieces in all of us, all 55 million of us back home.
Interesting. To what extent, at least so far, has this fellowship met your expectations?
It's smashed my expectations out of the park. Absolutely into smithereens. You know, I came here knowing that I was going to meet amazing, great young African leaders. And I thought, yes, we'll keep contact and we'll have connections. But I didn't think that I was going to find friends here in this fellowship. And I think one of the hardest things when you come from the African continent where the economy is not so good, so traveling intercontinental, intercountry is just not as easy or affordable for most citizens. It becomes harder and harder to connect with your fellow African brothers on the continent, especially all the way down in the south. So coming here and forming genuine connections with young African leaders and forming genuine friendships that are going to serve you personally moving forward, but also serve you in your career moving forward. That for me has been one of the biggest gains from this form of fellowship. I had to leave Africa in order to meet Africa.
What about the fact that you come from a relatively democratic nation on the African continent, and you have to interact with lots of your sisters and brothers who probably don't really quite come from the same sort of circumstances or conditions?
I think definitely that is true. South Africa is very fortunate with the painful past that we have, but we also have a bright future ahead of us, and we're working hard to be united and to create an even better future that is equal. And I'm happy to say that it's the young people again who are championing this cause in South Africa. So I think the lovely thing about South Africa is it's a country where you have a poor class, you have a middle class, and you have, the elitist class. And the nice thing about that in South Africa is that you could be a girl with a rural background like myself, coming all the way from Durban, Mkhize, in Tlazuga, but also who was able to get education in relatively good high schools in South Africa, with good education in South Africa, who's been able to live in the city. So you have the best of both worlds. I've had the best of both worlds: exposure to people who have not or have not much, and exposure to people who have much and still aspire to have more. So I think that also served me quite well, part of this program, to be able to connect with my different brothers and sisters from the continent who come from different backgrounds, and it made me relatable.
I have been very, very lucky to have had the opportunity to breathe the air in Durban and KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa.
It's beautiful. We've got so many trees and so many animals, and it's all fresh.
Incredible. Let me come to you,